A protest encampment at Columbia University remained standing on Monday, well past a 2 p.m. deadline to disperse or face suspension, after the school's president said talks with pro-Palestinian activists had reached an impasse. One key demand of the protesters is that Columbia divest assets that support Israel's military. University President Manoush Shafiq said Columbia would not do so, but offered to invest in health and education in Gaza and make the school's direct investment holdings more transparent. Here's student organizer Sweta Polat.
While the administration offered us a timeline for review of divestment proposals, they refused to give us any commitment that the ultimate decision would be binding. They offered us limited financial disclosure by giving only their direct holdings, yet not the indirect holdings which account for the vast majority of this university's endowment.
Protesters vowed to keep their encampment on the New York City campus until Columbia meets 3 demands: divestment, transparency in Columbia's finances, and amnesty for students and faculty disciplined for their part in the protests. Columbia said students who did not vacate the encampment would face suspension and become ineligible to complete the semester in good standing.
Students are currently holding their ground and refusing to be scared by the administration's fear tactics. And we're here in solidarity with Gaza, who continues to hold their ground on their indigenous land, so we won't be leaving.
Mahmoud Halil is the lead negotiator for Columbia University Apartheid Divest.
This encampment is a minor inconvenience compared to the generational shaping events taking place now in Gaza. This is not a matter of simply violating university rules. This is a movement, an anti-war movement.
2 weeks ago, Shafiq faced an outcry from many students, faculty, and outside observers for summoning New York City police to dismantle the encampment, resulting in more than 100 arrests. Efforts to remove the encampment, which students set up again within days of the April 18th police action, have triggered dozens of similar protests at schools from California to Boston, as well as countries across the globe.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. Hopefully everyone is recovered from the weekend.
The police presence we've seen so far is acceptable?
As far as police presence, that's up to the colleges and the universities. That's for them to decide. And we have to be able to allow Americans to peacefully protest within the law. That is important, and that's what the president wants to see. I can't comment on every case. I can't comment on everything that we're seeing out there. What I can speak to is more broadly and what we want to see and what we've called out.
If I can shift gears real quick, I know there was discussion, the president himself also referenced the idea of an immigration-related...
I know, we've seen the videos that have pretty much gone viral out there, and I can't speak to that. We may have more to say about those videos once we look into that. We'd have to look into them. Just don't have anything to share beyond that. But it is important. It is important for Americans to have the right to peacefully protest. We understand this is within the law, and we understand this is a difficult time, and we're going to call out any type of hateful rhetoric.
And so does the administration think the police force...
we hope that schools can hold commencement celebrations while respecting difficult viewpoints that we're seeing right now in these issues. And we understand that it is a painful moment.
The group today unanimously took the decision to continue this encampment until Columbia divests.
Divestment, disclosure. We will not be moved by these intimidation tactics. You can see outside you now that the students are mobilized. There's hundreds of them here today. They will not be moved. We demand divestment. We will not be moved unless by force. Earlier today, President Shafiq sent out an email announcing the end of negotiations and declared explicitly that the university will not divest from Israel. In that same email, President Shafiq claimed that we had had constructive dialogue regarding the student encampment and made insincere statements regarding the university's actions. The university's negotiations evidenced an elementary understanding of the words boycott and divest, which have been at the heart of the student movement and at the heart of our encampment. While the administration offered us a timeline for review of divestment proposals, they refused to give us any commitment that the ultimate decision would be binding. Told us. The negotiations are off the table right now. The university has conducted itself with obstinacy and arrogance, refusing to be flexible on some of our most basic points. That said, we were engaging in good faith negotiations until the administration cut them off under threat of suspensions. Where we asked for amnesty, they gave us more discipline. They also threw bribes at students. Shafiq talks about early development childhood education programs for Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza. She talks about a resilience fund for Gazans. This amounts to nothing more than bribery of the student movement.
This is not a matter of simply violating university rules. This is a movement, an anti-war movement. We have sparked similar Gaza solidarity encampments across the nation and even across the globe.
I think the power and collective strength demonstrated by the students is incredible, because it seems like every day or every other day or so the university comes up with some arbitrary deadline, and rather than scaring off the students, we come back stronger and more strong together than we ever had before.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute disgrace. I'm an alumni of this university. I am absolutely disgusted by the way that the administration has walked away from the bargaining table after offering the students nothing but crumbs when the stakes are genocide and the demand is divestment.
So students are currently holding their ground and refusing to be scared by the administration's fear tactics. And we're here in solidarity with Gaza, who continues to hold their ground on their indigenous land, so we won't be leaving.
I think the encampment is going strong. I think the encampments across the country are going strong, and it's really up to the universities to decide whether their investments are really worth jeopardizing commencement.
And I think as you can see, there's a lot of popular support, people who are coming out to defend the students, to defend the encampment, and I think it's up to the administration how much they're going to escalate. But we're here to protect the students from whatever the admin does next.